One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart of steel and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. A metal mayhem that will never die. With vengeance roaring, he paves his way. A legend in the making, day by day.
Got a big news morning in front of us. Let's do it. Great to see everyone out there, man. All right, we got a lot to cover this morning. Iran strikes expand as well as Kuwait is hit. Rubio testifies. We've got a lot to discuss. That's the title. So let me go ahead and give you guys a chronological breakdown of what we're actually looking at this morning. First, we're going to be starting off with Rubio. This is like actually the claim, like quote unquote, right? Rubio kills people with AIDS. That's a protest. These are protesters over there at Capitol Hill. I don't even know what they're getting at. So we do have that footage for you guys, and we're going to start off the morning with that. But then we're going to be going into yesterday. DHS Secretary Mullen has tense exchange with Senator Murphy. We've got that shit lined up for you guys as well. DOJ pulls plug on the anti-weaponization fund. That's what we discussed, the slush fund yesterday about the $1.776 billion slush fund. And it looks like the House committee or some something like that. They're discussing the whole situation. So we have that for you guys as well. And then this was breaking about 14 hours ago. Big deal, actually. Hostage situation underway inside California bank amid bomb threat. It says we are learning about a breaking story out of California this Tuesday. According to early reports, an active hostage situation is underway in downtown Bakersfield. Dude, okay. That doesn't get any worse. It doesn't get any worse. Bakersfield? Oh, my God. This information is coming from local authorities who confirmed that officers were called to a Chase Bank in the Bakersfield area around 1 p.m. Tuesday regarding a bomb threat. Wow. Definitely interesting. And my cat's trying to play with the green screen back here. And then we have just in, this comes out about 5 hours ago. U.S. military defeats Iranian missiles, drones with island strikes. Now, I'm not very sure exactly what they mean about the island strikes. We're going to find that out together, obviously. And then we have a video, actually, just 3 hours ago. Iran launches waves of drones at U.S. forces in Kuwait, and several are injured. Now, I think we actually have an update on how many people have been, killed in that situation, unfortunately. But first, then we go to a panel, I guess Fox and Friends bring on somebody or whatever. Iran attacks Kuwait, Bahrain, prompting U.S. military response. And then we're going to get into that whole thing regarding Kuwait. It says 1 dead, multiple injured after Iran strikes Kuwait's main airport. So they didn't just attack some, military structure or something like that. They actually went and launched strikes at Kuwait's main airport. So, and then we have, this is what the whole report is called, is not serious about a ceasefire. It says Iranian drags on negotiations. I think that goes on both sides for damn sure. All right, so that's what we're looking at for this morning. Real quick, let's go ahead and do our call to actions, and then we'll get into the madness. Make sure you guys hit that like button, double tap that screen if you guys are on the vertical side, and hit that subscribe button. This is what we do Monday through Friday, and of course, we have members only on Saturday morning. Now, speaking of members, please consider becoming a member, starting only at $3.99 a month. Making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody, but check it out. This is what allows us to have these lights on as well as be on these airwaves. So thank you guys for becoming members and staying members. Little side note here, follow my Instagram if you aren't already, at Ball Valve TV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news, all that great shit. It's a great way to get a hold of me one-on-one. And we also have a Discord server for all of you legends. Make sure you go in the video description down below where we have that invite link so we can continue the conversation. As you guys know, we only are live about an hour to maybe an hour and a half max. So anyways, and last but not least, all super chats, super stickers, gifted memberships, and membership signups are, of course, all going to be presented live and shouted out onto the show. But if you guys like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, we have these platforms that are scrolling around the screen, and you can donate to those, and I get 100% of the proceeds. And of course, I'll read out loud anything that comes our way, just like a normal super chat. So we've got our email lined up and everything. We're always scanning. Real quick, speaking of, it looks like we actually received an offline donation this morning from my brother Code TV, another fantastic YouTuber. He sends $5. It says, let's see, at 9:23, so like 45 minutes ago or whatever. He sends in $5 and saying, supporting the channel, much love, loyalty, honor, and respect. My man, I can't thank you enough for that. Offline donations are actually one of the most unexpected, really appreciated. I mean, it's legendary, man. So thank you for that. All right. Good morning to all you legends. I see you all in here. Hopefully you're enjoying the morning so far. Real quick, we got to give a special shout out to Motobomb Virginia, as well as the coffee crew. They rated us this morning, so I very much appreciate that. Thank you very much for your guys' support, as well as Carney Vanguard. He's part of it as well. Sent his people and rated us this morning as well. Thank you very much, kind sir. We got Frank in the building, as well as Gary. Good morning to you, kind sir. Let's see. We got Naomi. Good morning to you as well. Thank you for everything that you do for the channel, by the way. We got Vanguard Critters. Good morning, as well as Rabbit of Chaos. I see you, as well as Steve Easy. Appreciate you guys. We got Stephanie. Good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat. And she's saying, I'm barely late today. That's true. That's true. We got Cloud as well. I see you. We're making our way down as fast as humanly possible. I do promise that. All right, let's go ahead and pretty much get into the madness this morning. We're going to start off with Rubio kills people with AIDS, quote unquote, protesters on Capitol Hill. So let's go ahead and see what the actual fucking claim is.
Rubio lies, people die. Rubio lies, people die.
This is really gay.
Why are you gay?
Rubio lies, people die. One girl dies every 3 minutes.
Oh my God. That's an emotional male right there. Look out, everybody. If this guy starts buying a whole bunch of firearms, that might be something to be watching for.
Rubio lies, people die. One girl dies every 3 minutes. One child dies every 30 minutes. Rubio lies.
I think they got it flipped or something. I think they have AIDS. Maybe they're mad that they got AIDS.
From January 2025 to January 2026, 17,000 people.
Virginia Chaos are coming in straight in, just like your name says. It is chaos.
Died from HIV because of Marco Rubio. Rubio lies, people die. Rubio lies, people die. Rubio lies, people die. One child died.
Is this all it's going to be over and over and over again? Can you guys explain what the meaning of the protest is? I mean, I get the chant, do the whole chant for a second here, but if that's all you're doing, I don't know what you're actually protesting against. I understand that you're saying Rubio is, I guess, somehow supporting of AIDS or something like that. Rubio kills people with AIDS. Okay, cool. Give us that claim and show us exactly why you are making that claim. Why? Because I don't understand it from just what we're watching here. I'd like to actually know what the claim is.
Every 30 minutes, one child dies. Every 30 minutes,
Crazy.
one child dies. Every 30
No. Good morning to you, by the way. You're coming in during the middle of chaos here, as you see.
Rubio lies, he will die. Rubio lies, he will die. Rubio lies, he will die. Rubio lies.
What's up, Jack? Good morning to you, by the way. What a waste of time. Like, these guys actually showed up to Capitol Hill to do this. Like, what do you guys do to make money, right? Like, I can't just go over to Capitol Hill just to stand there with a sign and scream like a lunatic. I just don't understand what is. It says restore, prepare, or something like that. Release the funds and extortion. What funds? I hope they get booted out. What a fucking nuisance. See, this is where it's like, okay, you have the right to assimilate. Or not assimilate. You have the right to, of course, peacefully protest. And the way I look at it is when you are doing this kind of shit never actually gets you anywhere. Demonstrations do a lot better, right? You'll get a lot more of what you want without having to do this. When you're that annoying and you're that loud, people think that, oh yeah, I'm being heard now. Well, actually, sure, you might be being heard at that moment, but no one wants to actually deal with it. No one. Now you are becoming an enemy to the government's eyes, right? So demonstrations are going to work a lot better. This right here, that's not demonstrating. These guys are fucking, a nuisance. You're the man, VC. No worries on that, bro. There's never an obligation. Okay, can we kick them out yet? All right, let's see if they get kicked out or something. They're just saying the same thing over and over and over again. Now they're all sitting. Why are they all sitting? What's happening here? Do they get tired after 2.5 minutes?
The reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, potential sanctions relief have emerged as those key sticking points in negotiations.
All these demonstrations, well, I shouldn't say demonstrations, protests that happen like this, especially at Capitol Hill. Every single time that I look at situations like this, I automatically assume that, like, who paid you, right? Like, who's paying for this narrative? Who is, and of course, they're going to pay the people that are willing to do this kind of shit. They already think like that. It's not like they're coming to someone like me trying to, here's money for you to go to Capitol Hill and protest, because they know that what they're going to get out of me, they're going to go for those same type of ideology people, right? So, but I do always wonder, like, who's funding this shit?
Also note here, the Secretary's appearances come as both the House and Senate could advance legislation.
Interesting there, Steve Easy. Thank you for the context, by the way. That's super interesting. And we got Charlie Rose in the house, as well as PJ. Good morning to you guys. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the morning so far. All right, let's go ahead and get into the Department of Homeland Security. Secretary Mullen has tense exchange with Senator Murphy yesterday, so during his hearing. So let's bring that up, and we'll quickly get into it. I actually didn't get any of this. I didn't watch any of this yesterday. I watched a lot of Marco's testimony yesterday, but I didn't watch any of this going on. So this is DHS Secretary Mullen testifies. It says Mullen is the 9th Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. He represented the people of Oklahoma for 13 years in both the Senate and the House, so he did both. Mullen is a former undefeated MMA fighter with a record of 5-0. I didn't know that, by the way. I gotta admit, I had no idea about that.
Mr. Secretary, this is from a federal court decision regarding ICE's activities in Minnesota. ICE is not a law unto itself. ICE has violated nearly 100 court orders. This list should give pause to anyone, no matter
And I'm going to speed it up a little bit because Murphy's speaking a little slow here.
his or her political beliefs, who cares about the rule of law. ICE has likely violated more court orders in January 2026 than some federal agencies have violated in their entire existence. That's not a Democratic appointed judge. That is a Republican appointed judge describing the scale of illegality. I understand your MO and others in the administration's MO is to attack.
Yo, real quick, we got Mr. Abe Dinkus in the chat. My man, good morning to you. Hopefully you're enjoying the morning as well. I know that we definitely are. We got the Briar Wolf, by the way. Shit, man, it's been a minute. Hopefully you're enjoying the morning as well. He's saying, hey, Mike, I haven't caught your show in a while. I'm glad to see you're doing so well, man. Keep up the great work. We'll catch you when I can. My man, thank you very much for that. We've got a lot of updates to the show and a lot of upgrades. So all these things definitely go a long way. So thank you for that. And we still got a long way to go on the upgrades, by the way. Oh shit, Briar Wolf just dropped a humongous whale right there. Holy shit, I'm actually beside myself right now. Yo, I cannot thank you enough for that. That is humongous. That definitely goes a long way. Not only helping me, but 50 others in the Insane Wheels family, bro. So thank you very much. That is absolutely insane. Good times, bro. Thank you for making it rain. All right, let's get it.
Personally, or to claim that we're inciting violence when we point out the widespread illegality. But this is a Republican appointed judge who is saying the exact same thing that I am saying. This is a really important discussion for us to have, because this is, whether you want to believe it or not, at the root of our disagreement, is that it is very hard for us to figure out how to fund an agency that is violating the law. Again, that's not me saying it. That's a Republican appointed federal judge. Now, this widespread violation of court orders admittedly largely happened before you got on the job. And as a senator, you always struck me as somebody who cared about the rule of law. And so maybe the easiest question is this. When DHS gets a court order, telling them that something they are doing is either illegal and unconstitutional, prior to you taking off.
Okay, Murphy, can you just get on with the fucking question?
A few moments later.
Like, these guys just love to hear the sound of their own fucking voice. It's annoying. It's annoying. They use these kind of things to be able to campaign on and show. They love being on camera. They love being, having the mic. It's really weird because someone like me, I'm not going to be that way in politics. I know that sounds counterintuitive to what I do on here, but I'm the same way on here. I'm not looking to get as much limelight as possible. I'm not trying to be, blasting, my opinions at every fucking thing. I'm not that kind of guy. I think you guys know that. And I wouldn't do that in office either. But anyways.
The approach was to ignore that court order. That's what the judge is saying. 94 times you got a court order, you didn't implement it.
Okay, get on with it.
Now that you are on the job, can you commit to us that if a court judges something ICE is doing, something DHS is doing as illegal and unconstitutional, tells you to stop, that you will comply with the court order?
You're a legend, Briar Wolf. Thank you for that.
Murphy, I will tell you that we will never break the Constitution, and we're not going to break the law, but we're going to enforce our nation's laws. And we're going to enforce the laws that you guys passed and that we implement. We will never go outside that, and if we do, we'll hold each other accountable for that.
But that doesn't sound like the same thing as committing that you will obey a court order. Obviously, the entire structure of the federal government gives the power to the federal courts to divine whether you are obeying the law or not. I mean, I think it's an easy thing to say. Will you or will you not implement court orders?
If we didn't think courts were...
Well, if he didn't think that the courts were, if they thought the courts were right in their decision, of course. But then what they do is they end up challenging it and putting those court orders into a higher court. That's what ends up happening.
Were politicized, then I would probably be able to answer that. But we see courts over and over again that use their bench for their political...
it's political activism from the bench. That's what it is.
Opinion, not just the rule of law. So and we can see that because we see how many times they're overturned.
Court orders you obey based upon whether you believe that
what I said
to be politically...
Don't put words in my mouth.
What are you saying then?
What I'm saying is we'll enforce the law and we're never going to break the Constitution.
You just said that you will not follow every court order because you...
Chris, Senator, don't start putting words in my mouth. That's not what I said. I said I will never break the Constitution. We're going to enforce the law. Will
you implement court orders when they tell you to stop?
You're making an assumption on court orders I haven't seen.
Will you not?
I'm going to enforce the law.
See, I just don't understand. It's very simple. anytime that these court orders come, usually not from the Supreme Court, usually comes from a lower court, or a smaller federal district judge or whatever the case is. Nonetheless, when that kind of thing happens, they're like, okay, that's cool and all that you made that ruling, but we're going to challenge it. So,
and I'll never break the Constitution.
I think, listen, if you're a
Pretty
Republican or
simple to me.
Democrat on this committee, you should be
and Christopher Collins, good morning to you, by the
really,
way.
really freaked out.
We should be really concerned about the rulings that come out of the courts and how often they get
Our federal system
overturned.
falls apart if you are telling me that you
They fall apart when you have a judge.
That's right, Road Reality. He says, I'm only here to dislike the video and not comment. That's W. Great to see you in the chat, bro. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning. I definitely know the hell we are. We got a lot going on this
It's
morning.
political
Too.
opinion from a bench, and they're outside the law too. Not all judges are above the law, but sometimes they think they are. That's why we see lower courts get overturned by higher courts.
Yeah, actually, Glenn just called me not that super long ago. Maybe 3 weeks by now. But we talked for a while.
Constantly.
Let me ask you about what's happening.
He seems
in
to be
Delaney
doing well.
Hall. You said that detainees are protesting there because they want their, quote, ethnic food. I have 3 official letters that were sent to the administration from about 300 detainees there. It won't shock you that there's no mention of ethnic food in these letters. These letters allege that there has been spoiled food, delayed medical
Which, and if that is true, if there is spoiled food and they're serving spoiled food to humans, I mean, I don't care where they're from or whatever, if they're illegal or not, we shouldn't be giving any of that. So I would disavow any of that. But the truth is as far as we have found out, it's about ethnic food as what he is denying. What the actual claims have been is erratic. It's been crazy. There's been like, oh, worms are in the meals. None of that. Okay, listen, bro. Not all of that can be fucking true. There's no way. Now, if there is proof of it, I would love to see it, and of course, I would take a step back on that. And I'm also disavowing that if that is the case, that shouldn't be the case. I would condemn that, right? I think that would be a humanitarian problem. But the case is what actually is happening here is you have people that are illegal immigrants here in this country, and they're from all different parts of the world, and they want their food. They are comfortable eating their food. Well, we don't make their food here, so we can't give them that food, right? We're giving you normal food here. And, it's kind of like prison systems, right? Like when you're in prison, man, you should have food that's not going to kill you. Of course. You shouldn't have spoiled food. You shouldn't have worms in your food. No, none of that. Again, this goes across the board, right? So anyways, I digress.
treatment, sewage backups, undue pressure to sign deportation paperwork. Madam Chair, if I could submit these letters for the record.
Without objection.
Nowhere in these letters is a demand for ethnic food. They describe pretty horrific conditions. This administration has defunded the ombudsman, the independent office that used to exist inside DHS that would do an independent investigation of claims like this. Can you just tell us, if you're taking these claims seriously, these allegations seriously, and looking at them, or whether you've prejudged this to be, as you stated, about a demand for ethnic food? These seem pretty serious, and it seems like you would want it.
So since the history of that facility being open, not one single health violation has been written. In fact, just recently, the state of New Jersey's health inspectors went in. They didn't find one single violation.
Oh, shit. They wanted to beat those claims quick. They had somebody go in there, like some health official go in there and actually do an audit of the place, basically, and said that nothing was found wrong.
You would want it.
So since the history of that facility being open, not one single health violation has been written. In fact, just recently.
Ever since it's been open, there's not been one health problem. That's what he said. And then on top of that, while this was all happening, they brought in a health official to actually do an inspection, and it was fine.
The state of New Jersey's health inspectors went in. They didn't find one single violation. But if you
By the way, from the state.
Compare it to what the state prison system is. State prison system, they have 3 prisons that are in deplorable conditions. Quote, that's what the health inspector said. Delayed health care is average of 32% delayed within 48 hours. We have more health. We have 2 times. No, yes.
Are you doing an investigation on these allegations?
Ranking member, this is why I had this information, is because I went through and
That I've never actually understood shit like this, because this isn't the first time I've ever seen that, by the way, where secretaries or whatever that are coming into a brand new position, they are getting accused from the aspect of like, like as if they were there and they were the ones that were making the decisions, and he's getting grilled on it. Happens all the time. It's odd. I'm not really sure why they think that, and that's one thing that if I were Secretary Mullen, I would say that very thing right there. I'd be like, why are you even talking to me about shit that had nothing to do with me? But anyways, that I would say that.
Looked at it and looked at what we have. 0 health inspections.
Not everyone is a health inspection allegation.
What's up, Roger? Good morning to you, by the way. Hopefully you're enjoying the morning.
Made some pretty damning claims saying that it's deplorable conditions.
Or not?
I said we looked into it. Health inspectors were just there.
Time is expired.
And we had 0 violations. 0 violations.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on into the next story here. We got DOJ pulls a plug on the anti-weaponization fund. That was that slush fund that we were talking about yesterday, that $1.776 billion slush fund. It looks like they're having some sort of House committee hearing or something like that. It says Acting Attorney General Blanche testifies before House committee here. Yeah, so let's go ahead and see what's going on. Let's go ahead and bring this up. Oh, also, you know what we haven't done yet? We've already, because Briar Wolf paid, and got I can't sit here and say send money in, but I will say everybody does need to embrace their
Don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. You are going to fuck up again in the future, quite possibly in a most spectacular fashion. Why worry about yesterday's fuck ups when you have tomorrow's fuck ups to look forward to? You are a fuck up, and fucking up is part of your growth process. Embrace the process.
The proper way to actually embrace this process is to open up this case, this very, very case that I've got here. We go ahead and open that beauty up. We grab one of these things, counterclockwise tobacco, by the way. All right, now we are ready for the day, right? We're ready to continue on. So let's get into the slush fund thing, and we'll quickly discuss it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Why was she so
Attorney
violent?
General,
Did you see how violent she was grabbing that mic? Hold on, I want to see that again. That was odd. Because they do have them like laying down or off to the side, and so she grabbed it. Usually you turn off the microphone because you've got an on-off switch, hot and cold switch, basically. And so usually you move the mic around, get it in position, then turn on your mic, right? But anyways, watch this.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Jesus. And we don't even have it sped up. She was like ready for it.
Mr. Attorney General, I wanted to ask a few questions about the anti-weapon.
Oh, yeah. Dude, Steve Easy, everything that we're watching here so far, all these political hearings, these, whether it's in front of the House committee, whether it's in front of whatever, all of this shit is straight up political theater. And there's nothing more that pisses me off truly, because how much money that goes into this. Everyone's being paid here, for nothing to actually happen, just for questions to be thrown around, accusations to be thrown around, and then actually nothing actually happening. No change.
Organization fund. We know that the department has agreed to pause this effort until at least June 12th. I wanted to ask what your plans were for the fund after June 12th.
So thank you. So look, we're not moving forward with the fund. You're right that there's a date that in the case in the East District of Virginia in June, but we are not moving forward with the fund, period. The reasons for the fund is something that President Trump talked about for a long time, which is the fact that there were a lot of people in this country who had their government weaponized against them. The reasons for the fund, I think, it remain as important as they were before, but we are not moving forward with the fund.
Oh, not moving forward ever?
Correct.
Oh, there's no more fund then?
Well, to the extent there was a fund, and remember the fund wasn't set up yet. There were no commissioners named. There was no claimants brought anything in front of. There was no claims made yet. So yes, we're not moving forward with the fund.
You and
Virginia Chaos, no kidding, bro. Pick up the mic super fast, then talk super slow. Interesting.
Associate Attorney General Woodward signed earlier documents regarding the settlement and this fund. Would both of you now sign and release documents reversing?
She really does sound like actually really damn slow now that you really pointed it out. I've got to speed it up.
The DOJ's position on the fund?
We're not moving forward with the fund. I'm not sure what that means to sign documents reversing. There's nothing to reverse. We're not moving forward with the fund.
We know about the court case, the decision, when we've heard press reports, obviously. But is there any way that you could put this in writing? I don't know if there are other ways that you could use another vehicle to move forward with a similar fund or similar intention. And we just want to reassure the American public. We've heard from both Republicans and Democrats, constituents and Americans across the country about this fund. And I think they would love to be reassured that this fund will not progress.
Oh my God. These guys are so weird.
I'm telling you it's not. I guess I'm not sure. I'm not.
That's right. And that's why I said that is like, he just said, we're not going through with this. We're not doing it.
I'm not trying to be flippant with you. I'm just saying, I'm telling you it's not. I'm not, there's we put out a statement yesterday. There's been an injunction, a temporary injunction filed in EDVA. There's litigation in DC. There's litigation in the Southern District of Florida. But notwithstanding what we do in those litigations and defending our rights and making sure our rights are protected, we're not moving forward with the fund.
Okay. Yeah.
W. Todd, by the way. Make sure you guys hit that like button, double tap that screen if you guys are on the vertical side. Listen, I know there's a lot of craziness that's going on around the world and inside of our own country here in the United States, but you guys can hit the like button for me and what we're doing here on Insane Wheels. So thank you for that. All right, back to this.
The statement I thought was just about until June 12th. So if it won't progress after June 12th, that's great to hear. And we hope to see this.
Oh, PJ, you need more than luck. You need a prayer, brother.
In writing. Yeah.
I mean, I think there'll be a transcript of what I say here, so that will be in writing.
Okay, well, we will work with you and hold you to it. Thank you very much. I wanted to...
And we'll work with you and hold you to it. Okay, yeah. Sounds good, lady. Thanks for nothing there.
To quickly ask with my remaining
now
time
she's continuing.
about hate crimes. We are concerned about the president's budget request eliminating 3 largest sources of federal support to local law enforcement for hate crimes responses and prevention. Legislation passed in a bipartisan basis, Jabara Hire, No Hate, Shepherd Bird, Hate Crimes Prevention, and community-based approaches to prevent and address hate crimes grant programs. Why are we proposing to eliminate the very programs that are helping our law enforcement and targeted communities?
Well, look, there's a lot of money that we have asked for to combat violent crime, to combat this type of crime. A lot of overlap includes hate crime. I'm happy to have my team work with you to make sure that we're getting money where it needs to be. That's an important issue to President Trump, and it's an important issue to the Department of Justice as well.
Can you describe or name the areas of overlap?
Well, there's billions of dollars. I think we asked for $12 billion to combat violent crime and grants and things like that. A lot of those grants will go to programs that at least part of it includes combating hate crime. And there's other individualized grants, some of which are earmarked along the way that we've funded for a long time.
And by the way, once he's over, well, actually it's almost over. I thought this was a little bit longer, but after he speaks here, we'll move on. So,
and that we will continue to work with you on.
We have a wild next story. It says hostage situation underway inside California bank amid bomb threat. So stick around for that.
On making sure that we're addressing that.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we're working together as we have seen and work together here in Congress, bipartisan, bicameral ways that combating hate crimes isn't just about prosecution, but also about prevention and working.
What's up, Shadow, my man? Good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat.
With community organizations as well. So I don't have time left, but I would love to continue to work together on this issue.
I agree.
All right, so let's go and move on. Like I said, we're going to get into this hostage situation that was breaking yesterday over there in California. It says in Bakersfield, and to me, it's like, why make the worst place on the planet even worse? Right? So let's go ahead and bring it up. And also, you know what we haven't done? We shall do the money part now. We shall.
All right, just get the money part done.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
Now that is the best propaganda you're going to get all day.
Denied.
Still love you guys. All right, let's go ahead and bring this up and we'll quickly get into it.
Welcome back into Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Anna Marsick. We are monitoring a breaking news situation right now in California. A live look on your screen right there. This is outside of Chase Bank in Bakersfield, California. Evacuations are underway and streets are closed in downtown Bakersfield right now due to a hostage situation with a bomb threat.
I feel bad for her because the way that she just did that, I do that kind of stuff all the time, and it's frustrating.
They're at Chase Bank. The Bakersfield Police.
Mr. Al Patterson, good morning to you, kind sir. Hopefully you're enjoying your Whip 'em Out Wednesday so far. I definitely know that we are. Make sure you guys hit that like button, by the way. Double tap that screen.
Department said that there is an active hostage situation at the Chase Bank there. This is on 17th Street and Chester in Bakersfield. Police said the suspect is a man. This man is making bomb threats, and police said that he apparently had a bomb strapped to his body. Police have confirmed that there is at least one.
That sounds like some a la snack bar activities.
One hostage involved in this situation. They're actively negotiating with this hostage. You could see they do have that crime scene tape up there on your screen.
I like how they say possible hostage situation at bank in California. Well, that's exactly what you just claimed what's happening here. So what do you mean possible?
Right now, and you could see in the distance there closer to Chase Bank the flashing lights of the police vehicles. So again, and a possible hostage situation there at Chase Bank in Bakersfield, California. We'll continue to monitor the situation and bring you any developments as we learn them. But again, evacuations are underway there, and the streets are closed in downtown Bakersfield due to this hostage situation with the bomb.
She did it again. She's thinking about it too much. Yep.
Right there at Chase Bank. So we will continue monitoring this situation and bring you any updates as we learn them. But if you are just joining us, moments ago in the top right-hand corner of your screen, we were bringing you this live look there. This is a hostage situation that's underway at Chase Bank in Bakersfield amid a bomb threat. We don't know a lot about the situation right now, but it looks like it is still a very active scene. We've learned evacuation.
And you know what sucks is this is the only report that came out. Unless we get a report later on today, which I doubt. Let's see. This came out yesterday. So, yeah, this is the latest report on it, and they didn't follow up.
Were issued following this bomb threat in downtown Bakersfield this afternoon. Officers were called to Chase Bank.
Chatting with Stacks. Good morning, kind sir. Hopefully you're enjoying your Whip 'em Out Wednesday.
On 17th Street there around 1 p.m. local time. Road closures are also in effect. We know this active hostage situation is underway in downtown Bakersfield there with that man who allegedly has.
Man, Steve Easy, that sounds epic. You know what I mean? Shit.
Man, motherfuckers talk all the shit they want.
Of course it would glitch out on the other side. Let me restart.
Man, motherfuckers talk all the shit they want. But you see me, I'm sitting up here snacking on this big ass sandwich, not getting a fuck. Kiss my dick, motherfucker.
True, though. True.
A bomb strapped to his body. That's according to authorities. And what we know is that the Bakersfield Police Department confirmed officers were called to.
What's up, Sterling Wheel? Hopefully you're enjoying the morning so far.
Chase Bank there in the downtown Bakersfield area regarding this bomb threat. Local media, KBAK, has reported that the suspect is a male and at least one hostage is involved. Mandatory evacuation orders are in effect in that immediate area there. In addition, road closures are in place on.
Well, no shit. Of course, there's a guy with a fucking bomb strapped to his chest. Of course. All a snack bar, you know what I mean? All right, let's go ahead and get into just 5 hours ago. Everything that, that we're going to present going forward is now this morning. Okay, so this coming in this morning, 5 hours ago, U.S. military defeats Iranian missiles, drones with island strikes. Now, I'm not exactly sure what they mean by island strikes. I'm sure that where these locations were on those small islands across, right there in the strait or near the strait. But nonetheless, I'm sure that that's what they're talking about, but I don't know that to be a fact yet until we see this report. So let's go ahead and bring it up. Here we go.
24 minutes after the hour now, the U.S. and Iran trading fire once again. CENTCOM releasing this statement, quote, U.S. forces successfully defeated multiple Iranian ballistic missiles and drones and conducted self-defense strikes on Qasem Island in response to attempted attacks by Iran across the Middle East. Meanwhile, lawmakers are expected to vote today on the latest Iran war powers resolution.
So, Stacks, real quick. So, No is obviously a really good person, but he got banned from your chat recently, I think, from one of your moderators. So, anyways.
With a strong chance the measure passes. It comes as Secretary of State Marco Rubio returns to Capitol Hill after testifying before the Senate and House that Iran's supreme leader...
Seymour Cannabis, good morning to you. Great to see you.
...is engaged...
And I bet you No, he doesn't even know that.
...in ongoing talks with the U.S. Listen.
Talks with Iran are not like talks with Switzerland, okay? They're very different. They have agreed to negotiate aspects of their nuclear program that just a month ago, or just a year ago, they were refusing to even mention, much less enter into discussions about. That is not.
No, he was specifically talking about not prison or jail. He was talking about your chat.
Not a guarantee that ultimately it will lead to a deal. I think there are indications out there that he is increasingly engaging at some level, although all of his communications have been in writing and through intermediaries.
Joining me now is a member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Bill Huizenga. Congressman, welcome back to the show. You're going to hear testimony from Marco Rubio in a matter of hours. Does Rubio's optimism that you heard in that soundbite we just played get certain Republicans to back off efforts to curb President Trump's war powers?
Well, that shit is so gay, the way that he's labeling this. The divide within the Republican Party is an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment. We shouldn't be so fucking divided during a time that we should be in solidarity, at least within the party. But it's crazy that these hardcore Zionist Republicans can't get their fucking head out of their ass. That's the problem. And really that does stem exactly to the problem of the split between the party right now. So anyways.
We know that Marco Rubio.
And we've got a lot of rhinos that act like conservatives. They love to say they're conservative. And then they don't vote conservative and they don't act and spend conservative. So they're fucking rhinos,
Rubio is very serious-minded. He's very experienced. He knows what he's doing, knows what he's talking about, and he has the confidence and the ear of the president. So when Marco is out there, I should say Secretary Rubio is out there speaking on behalf of this administration, it's with forcefulness. And I think there is the part of the problem is for lack of a better term, he's negotiating with a civilian government, which, though, it may or may not actually be in control of those missiles and drones and all those other things, because it's the IRGC and the mullahs that really seem to be pulling the strings when it comes to whether a strike happens or whether the.
I absolutely agree with this, Gary. You shouldn't be able to serve in Congress with dual citizenship with any country. That's the way I look at it. It's not just biased to like Israel, but it just so happens that we have so many people that have dual citizenship in Congress, which is nuts. I don't understand why we even allow that.
Ceasefire is actually being adhered to or not.
Are you voting for the War Powers Resolution Act?
I do not plan to vote on this because, look, this is once again the Democrats playing political games with a very serious issue. They have no intention of actually coming to a solution or a way forward on this. They're just trying to play politics with it.
But what's your message to those Republicans who are indicating in recent days that they might vote for this and allow it to pass?
Yeah, look, I understand we have a very serious issue here. None of us want to be trapped in a forever war, but we have to make sure that as we are looking at this, the president has the ability to maneuver and negotiate the way that he needs to be able to, and by extension, Secretary Rubio as well. And I just don't think voting for a Democrat War Powers Act that really is politically based, not fact-based, not policy-based, just isn't the right direction to go. So we know that we have had a negotiated ceasefire, and it's Iran, or at least the IRGC, that is choosing to violate that ceasefire. And frankly, again, that's due probably more to internal politics in Iran than it is anything else.
And this vote will certainly be one to watch. Another vote to watch. You are introducing a landmark bill called the Deport the Terrorist Act.
Oh, wow. I want to stick around for that. I want to hear that.
Seems logical, doesn't it? Which would require the revocation of citizenship and deportation proceedings for naturalized U.S. citizens convicted of terrorism-related offenses.
Wait, what? Hold on. They're U.S. citizens. Well, if they're terrorists, like domestically, those are our terrorists. Why would we send our terrorists to be dealt with on a different land? I don't understand. We need to be punishing them. What? That doesn't make any sense. Wait.
Congressman, I don't have to remind you, there's no time like the present to pass something like this because Republicans control the Senate, House, and the White House.
Yeah, I need to hear more about it before I actually have a a convicted stance on it. But.
Will you be able to get this passed into law before the midterms, before Democrats possibly take the House and or Senate?
We're going to be doing everything we possibly can to do that. Because as you said in the setup, I cannot think of anything that is more logical. If you are coming to this country, you're not born here, you're not a natural.
Okay, so you're not born here.
Born citizen, you're choosing to come here. And by the way.
Yeah, not a natural born citizen. It just said natural born citizen.
You swear an oath that you are giving up any allegiance to any other government, prince, potentate. There's all kinds of words in there that you have to agree to that says, you know what, my loyalties are now with the United States. And if you are not...
We all agree with that. We would all agree with that.
Just charged, but convicted of terrorism, why in the world would we allow you to retain the right, that privilege of that you have just...
Well, I would automatically assume that they wouldn't. That's interesting. I would assume that we would charge them, hold them, I would assume, and that's where their citizenship lies, right? I mean, like, I just don't understand what I think we already deport those type of people. We do that all the time. But there must be certain cases where we don't or something.
Just been given to become a U.S. citizen. Why would we allow you to continue to do that? So this makes a whole lot of sense to me.
Hell yeah, Stax. That's awesome. Thank you.
I hope it will make sense to other people. And, you know, I hope that we can make that loud and clear to other House members in the Senate as well.
Yeah, because, Congressman, there are a lot of non-terrorists who would love the privilege of being in the United States. Maybe we prioritize those people as opposed to people who, you know, want to kill us and blow up our nation. Congressman Bill Huizenga, thank you, sir. Always a pleasure to have you on.
All right, so we're going to move on into this video. We have this video of this morning. Iran launches wave of drones at U.S. forces in Kuwait, several injured. Now, that's specifically what I chose for the thumbnail this morning and how we made it. As you guys can see, Kuwait was hit and from Iran. So let's go ahead and bring this video up. It says we have an actual video. I would like to show that before we get into the other breaking story of this, because we actually have numbers after this, because I don't think this very first video is going to give us actual numbers.
We have some breaking news to report on this Wednesday when it comes to the developments in the Middle East, as the Iranian military has released new videos showing strikes against U.S. forces. Take a look at this. It's the video that was...
Be good out there, No. We always appreciate you.
...released, and the footage captures the projectiles in flight, with Iran launching the attacks toward Kuwait and Bahrain, according to U.S. Central Command.
Kurt, very much appreciate you, by the way. Good morning. Hopefully you're enjoying your Whip 'em Out Wednesday. And thank you for that, Steve Easy. You know, I actually do my damnedest every single morning to make the most badass fucking thumbnail. It takes me forever, actually. But it's something that I know that is a necessary thing, because I'm really trying to scale this this channel. As you guys know, I'm really trying to scale Insane Wheels as a brand, right? You know, so we're doing all of, you know, all these upgrades that you guys see, we're doing them actively as we don't just talk about it, we do it, right?
Coming down on Tuesday. Now, CENTCOM confirms the missiles and drones were shot down and failed to reach their intended targets. In response, the U.S. military conducted self-defense strikes on an
Mama Iron Ranger, good morning to you.
Iranian site. But on Wednesday, officials in Kuwait said the country's airport was damaged by an Iranian.
Real quick, Naomi coming in with the 2 spot saying love and respect to my IWF. Yes, very much appreciate you, Naomi, for the $2 there. Let me go and back up a little bit because I talked over it, and then that donation came through. So here we go.
Military conducted self-defense strikes on an Iranian site. But on Wednesday, officials in Kuwait said the country's airport was damaged by an Iranian drone, adding commercial flights are also suspended. The Iranian missile launches follow a U.S. attack on an oil.
Well, Lucy wouldn't be invisible if she was sitting on top of my chair, but she loves to go lay down, as you guys know, when I do the show.
Tanker, allegedly trying to reach Iran through the American blockade. The U.S. military hit the vessel's engine room with a missile after the crew ignored repeated warnings over 24 hours.
Sure, Mama, I will.
Also to a social media post courtesy of U.S.
Where did you send it, by the way? Did you send it on Facebook?
CENTCOM, in which they talk about this specific situation. They say this: an additional wave of Iranian drones attempting to attack U.S. forces in Kuwait failed to impact intended targets tonight. U.S. Central Command air defenses successfully downed multiple drones and ensured no American personnel or assets were harmed. Let's take us back to that video that, again, we just got in earlier today and speak a little bit about this situation.
Watch it
and
happen.
specifically what's happening in Kuwait. The Associated Press saying that
Boom.
Kuwait briefly shut the country's main airport on Wednesday after Iranian
Look
drones
at that,
heavily
breaking
damaged
through.
and killed
Wow.
one person. The latest salvo in a series of back and forth attacks by Tehran and Washington that have tested a fragile ceasefire. The Associated Press did posting that to their account on X, in which, again, they talk about the fact that Kuwait has suspended commercial flights after an Iranian drone attack hit its international airport and injured a number of people.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm still waiting on my DQ coupons as well. I went yesterday, by the way. I love Dairy Queen. I gotta admit it. I do love it.
That report goes on to say the strikes came as semi-official Iranian news agencies said the country had stopped communicating with mediators about extending a ceasefire in the war with the U.S. and Israel. Regional officials said Tehran wanted the truce in Lebanon enforced before returning to talks. President Trump had said negotiations were continuing. Now, those talks have dragged on for weeks, and repeated exchanges of strikes in the Gulf region
Multiple
and Israel's
weeks.
broadening war in Lebanon are further straining the efforts. All the while, Iran has maintained its stranglehold on the Strait of Hormuz, a crucial artery for the world's oil and natural gas. And the U.S. has continued its blockade.
You know, I totally understand that, Kurt. And as somebody that deals with this kind of stuff every single day, you know, right? I don't just do it while I'm on the live stream, right? I study this shit when I'm off the live stream. But nonetheless, I am fairly convicted that I am able to determine at this point right now. Now, this may change tomorrow if, let's just say, magically it gets even that much better. There is a lot of AI that is pretty decent pump fakes out there. But at this point, I've gotten so good at being able to determine what is legit and what is not. It's very, very hard to punk me at this point. I mean, this has become my specialty, right?
Of Iranian ports, ensuring that global fuel prices remain high and the effects of the conflict are felt well beyond the region. Now, Defense Ministry spokesperson said that, quote, a number of hostile drones had targeted Kuwait International Airport's
No, and I don't even blame you, by the way, because there's a lot of people, even myself, you know, is hesitant right off the bat with everything, right? So that's, I totally get you.
Passenger building, severely damaging the building and injuring a number of individuals. Later, Kuwait's foreign ministry said at least one person has been killed. State media had reported that Kuwait Airways suspended operations. Civil aviation authorities said that the airport partially reopened later in the day, with Kuwait Airways flights resuming from a different terminal from the one that was hit.
All right, so they hit Kuwait's largest airport over there, right? So like we said, they didn't just attack something like a military structure or something like that. They're going for straight up the biggest airport that they've got. So they shut down their international flights, or all flights actually, right? So that totally makes sense because their airport, their biggest airport, was just hit. Makes sense. All right, let's go ahead and get into this, though. It says when this story was breaking, it says just an hour ago. This was breaking an hour ago. One dead, multiple injured after Iran strikes Kuwait's main airport. Now, this is breaking as the numbers are coming out, I believe. So here we go.
You're watching live now from Fox. Welcome back. We are following some breaking news as it relates to Iran. Fox News just putting this out here, reporting from Trey Yingst, saying breaking, at least one person has been killed and more than 60 have been wounded after Iran launched a barrage of missiles and drones at Kuwait and Bahrain overnight.
Wow, 60 people on top of the person that died.
CENTCOM says an additional wave of drones attempting to attack U.S. forces in Kuwait were downed and that no American personnel or assets were harmed. The escalation comes as the Trump administration continues nuclear talks with Iran while maintaining that sanctions relief will depend on Tehran agreeing to strict limits on its nuclear program. So once again, that reporting just coming in here from Fox.
Look at those. Those are actual images. I know that you guys can't really see it. If you're on a phone, I think you can pinch to zoom on iPhone or whatever. I'm not sure if you can do that on Android. I think you can. But anyways, there's some images here, and it does look a bit chaotic. I mean, they really did get hit on their structure over here. Maybe I can actually find some pictures, but these next reports that we're going into are going to be discussing a lot of exactly what we're talking about. So I think that we're going to get images there.
Is Trey Yingst, but I also want to put this up on your screen. This is some video released this morning by Iran's military of that missile and drone launch. A bit about what we know about this. Kuwait briefly shut its main airport today after Iranian drones heavily damaged a passenger terminal building, killing one person, wounding dozens, which is the latest in back and forth attacks by Tehran and Washington that have tested a fragile ceasefire. Semi-official Iranian news agency.
Well, and I think the honest truth is I would agree with this normally, absolutely. Now, here's the problem, though. Our Gulf allies, if we leave and abandon them after they just sided with us, which is pretty gnarly in the first place that they would do that. But nonetheless, I think that they were bought in. I think a lot of these Gulf nations were already bought in, and they don't really like Iran. You know, they're bullies of the region. They really are. So at that point, after them investing all this money, them then siding with us on a war front, that's a big fucking deal. And then for us to just abandon them, they would get totally fucking bullied. You know, all those Gulf nations. Now, is it really actually our responsibility? Maybe, maybe not. But now that we're involved, we're knee deep in this shit, man.
Have said Tehran has
got to be some
communicating
resolve
with mediators about extending the ceasefire in the war with the U.S. and Israel. A regional official saying Iran wanted a separate ceasefire in Lebanon enforced before returning to talks. President Trump asserted that negotiations continued. But these talks have dragged on for weeks, and exchanges of strikes in the Gulf region and Israel's broadening war with the Iranian-backed Hezbollah in Lebanon are further strains. Iran maintains its hold on the Strait of Hormuz, which is that crucial waterway for the world's oil and natural gas and related products like fertilizer.
Yeah, and though what I'm talking about is, you know, an ought thing, like we ought to do that, I guess, you know, kind of thing. But truth be told, I don't have an allegiance to anybody other than America. I'm America only at this point, you know. So fuck America first. It's America only. And I don't mean like, hey, everyone needs to like diminish off the face of the planet and we're never going to trade with you. And of course, we need things across the world that we don't have. Like, I hate when we get these really low IQ, super dense people that are like, well, what do you mean? You can't survive without the X, Y, and Z. It's like, well, no shit. Of course. I'm talking about what is the actual best interest of Americans, always on every single decision, right? So my ideology is a little bit different than maybe a lot of people.
And the U.S. continues its blockade of Iranian ports. As we continue to follow this news, another post here from the New York Post saying Iranian drone attack hits Kuwait airport, causing injuries. According to the Associated Press, the Defense Ministry spokesperson said, quote, a number of hostile drones targeted a passenger building at Kuwait International Airport, which had opened only Monday after a months-long closure.
Damn, they had just closed their fucking airport for an entire month. And then they just opened that bitch up or whatever. And now they have to shut it all down again. Wow, that super sucks. Let me hear that again.
Said, quote, a number of hostile drones targeted a passenger building at Kuwait International Airport, which had opened only Monday after a months-long closure because of the war, which began February 28th with the U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iran. Authorities at this time, once again, saying one person was killed, several wounded, including passengers as well as workers. The health ministry spokesman said some suffered serious injuries, and India's embassy said the person killed was an Indian national. Kuwait's defense ministry said it destroyed over a dozen missiles and a similar number of drones from Iran. The foreign ministry said Kuwait reserves the right to respond to Iran and will, quote, neither accept nor tolerate these attacks. The airport partially reopened later with Kuwait Airways flights resuming at a different terminal. No other flights were operating. Meanwhile, the U.S. military saying 2 Iranian missiles fell apart en route to Kuwait and that it downed multiple drones.
What's up, Logical Spark? Great to see you in the chat, by the way. Happy Whip 'em Out Wednesday.
Targeting American forces in the country. So this is that breaking news we wanted to bring you here.
All right, so we'll end that part there. Let's go into Iran attacks Kuwait, Bahrain, prompting U.S. military response. Now, this is off of a panel off of Fox and Friends. I really dislike this panel. I'm going to be honest. I really don't like the people on here, but I do want to see the reports that are being discussed on it. So let's go ahead and bring this up. Here we go.
All right, now to the Middle East. The United States and Iran trading fire overnight, complicating the ongoing peace talks.
You think? Iran escalating the situation, carrying out strikes at several of America's Gulf allies, including Kuwait.
Our chief foreign correspondent, Trey Yinks, joins us live from Tel Aviv with the latest. Hey, Trey.
Yeah, hey guys, good morning. Overnight, Iran attacked both Kuwait and Bahrain with drones and missiles. We know several people were injured and significant damage was caused.
That's part of the image that was on that little tiny image from the last report where they just put a little tiny image there. This was one of the images out of like the 4 they put.
International airport. CENTCOM released a statement saying that an additional wave of Iranian drones attempting to attack U.S. forces in.
But the one that I want you guys to see is the actual damage that was done, because I think that was like a downed drone or something like that. I don't know what the exact thing they were just showing there. That little fire in the parking lot. It's like, okay, big deal. But the other one, what we were seeing on that first report, like big infrastructure problems. So
Kuwait failed to impact intended targets tonight. U.S. Central Command Air Defenses successfully downed multiple drones and ensured no American personnel or assets were harmed. The Iranian attacks were in response to U.S.
Oh, Sterling, it was brutal this morning. Right before I start the show, I always say, a message, and I wanted to say happy Whip 'em Out Wednesday to the IWF, blah, blah, blah. And it wouldn't let me do it on my own platform. It wouldn't let me do it. I tried it on StreamYard side, got blocked. Went on to the actual YouTube side of things, tried to put it in the chat, still blocked, censored. On my own fucking platform, by the way. There's nothing that pisses me off more than that. But a lot of people have been getting censored this particular live stream. I'm not sure why.
U.S. strikes that targeted Keshem Island in the Persian Gulf, according to the IRGC. CENTCOM confirmed striking an Iranian military ground.
What's up, GEG? Good morning.
Control station on the island and described the targeting as defensive in nature. Before that, U.S. forces also disabled an unladen oil tanker that was attempting to sail toward an Iranian port in the Persian Gulf by firing a Hellfire missile into the ship's engine room. The vessel had received.
Look at that. That's where they say a Hellfire missile?
The Persian Gulf by firing a Hellfire missile into the ship's engine room. The vessel had received multiple warnings over a 24-hour period. The exchange of fire comes as U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio was on Capitol Hill Tuesday, indicating that talks with Iran continue toward a deal and that Iran's supreme leader Mojtaba Khamenei is involved.
They have agreed to negotiate aspects of their nuclear program that just a month ago, or just a year ago, they were refusing to even mention, much less enter into discussions about. That is not a guarantee that ultimately it will lead to a deal. I think there are indications out there that he is increasingly engaging at some level, although all of his communications have been in writing and through intermediaries.
President Trump posted on Truth Social that he told the Iranians it is, quote, time for you one way or another to make a deal. Guys?
So Trey, to make a deal, you'd have.
Yeah, Trump definitely wants them to make a deal. I can tell you that. Let's see. We'll continue on a couple of minutes, or not even that, of seeing what Trey has to say here. If there's nothing valuable here and it's just biased bullshit like it usually is with him, then we'll just go ahead and move on.
Have to deal with a guy, the supreme leader, who seems engaged. Remember, we took out his dad.
Because he does report actually a lot of facts, but then when he gets into his opinion-based reporting, it's interesting.
His wife.
It's like what happens here is after he does his objective report, then he'll be asked questions and then he'll definitely give his biased opinion for sure.
His kid and brutally injured him. And he has said nothing but rhetoric about not only wanting us out, but wanting us out of the entire region. At the same time, the president who we were dealing with seems on the cusp of resigning, and the blockade seems to be working as the real is worth about, you need 1 million real for every dollar. And they have electricity, it looks like 2 hours a day. Do you think in some respects, since our blockade seems effective, that time is on our side?
Yes. President Trump has much more time than the Iranians. The reality is the Iranians are losing hundreds of millions of dollars each day as a result of the U.S. naval blockade of Iranian ports. We have seen the numbers, 90% decrease in Iranian exports, crude oil extraction at just 50%. The U.S. naval blockade is crippling the Iranian economy. And that is the reason that President Trump is reportedly being quite patient and pushing back even on what some allies in the region would like to see, because he understands that he holds the cards here and that the Iranians can continue this rhetoric. They continue these limited attacks in the Gulf. But the reality is U.S. forces remain across the region, more than 50,000 U.S. service members, fighter jets, refuelers, cargo planes, you name it, here in the region in preparation if President Trump decides to order strikes against the Iranian regime. And you saw last night how quickly CENTCOM can act when they see a threat. In real time, they identified, using intelligence, an active threat from the Iranian regime on Qasem Island, and they struck that threat. Now, the Iranians responded with ballistic missile fire and drone attacks against Gulf countries that have been widely condemned by the Qataris, the Emiratis, and others, because it illustrates how dangerous the Iranian regime really is. And again, the president has a lot of decisions to make here in the days ahead about the timing, but the reality is he holds the cards and he can be patient because of this U.S. naval blockade.
Trey, really quickly, when it comes to the nuclear program, Marco Rubio said that Iran has agreed to negotiate previously off-limit aspects of the nuclear program. What is he talking about? The off-limits that they're agreeing to negotiate about?
It's a great question because
Yes, by the way, we got a friendly reminder. We are officially in overtime, baby. You know what they say about overtime? No tax on tips and no tax on overtime. Send in your money, everybody. Let's do it. Feels ultra good to be a G.
I understand, according to reports, this memorandum of understanding was going to establish Iran never having a nuclear weapon, but the details would be later negotiated in the weeks ahead. And ultimately, if this memorandum of understanding is reached,
Hell yeah, Sterling. Appreciate you not only helping me, but helping someone else in the IWF. Thank you for that.
those details are still going to have to be worked out. Now, reports indicate late last week in the Situation Room at the White House, President Trump called on his top negotiators to go back to the table and get more concessions from the Iranians to get details on how they can assure they'll never have a nuclear weapon and also what they're going to do with that highly enriched uranium. Guys?
Thanks so much.
All
Trey.
right, that's enough of Trey Yingst for me. I'm sure he'll probably appear in this next one because this next report is coming off of that same panel. So it says, not serious about a ceasefire. Iranian, that's what it says anyways. Iranians drag on negotiations. I'm not sure why they labeled it that way. It should just say Iran, but anyways.
Talks with Iran are not like talks with Switzerland, okay? They're very different. They have agreed to negotiate aspects of their nuclear program that just a month ago or just a year ago, they were refusing to even mention.
Yes, by the way, we've got well over 100 people in here between both the live streams. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Double tap that screen if you're on the vertical side. I very much appreciate it. It's absolutely free to do so, and it goes a long way, man. You know, you guys can like it from me and what we're doing here, not because of all this craziness. That's not what I'm asking you guys to do it for.
Much less enter into discussions about. That is not a guarantee that ultimately it will lead to a deal. I think there are indications out there that he is increasingly engaging at some level, although all of his communications have been in writing and through intermediaries.
He said he means the supreme leader who's been brutally defiled. In just a few hours, Secretary of State Marco Rubio heading back to the Hill for another day of testimony on the Iran war. After CENTCOM confirms the U.S. carried out another round of self-defense strikes against Iran as a shaky ceasefire remains in the balance.
Oh, yeah, I can get down with this kind of OT, time right here. We got Sterling Will sending in 420 for overtime puff. Yes, sir. We're going to get it right now.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
You know the deal. Very much appreciate you making it rain in the chat, by the way. Let's get it.
Our next guest served under President Trump's National Security Council and was the principal architect of the Abraham Accords. Army combat vet Robert Greenway joins us now. Robert, the talks are frustrating. Why do you think they're so frustrating with Iran? Obviously, it's not Switzerland, but there's an additional challenge, isn't there?
Yeah, it's good to be with you, Brian. There is an additional challenge because of the attacks that have taken place and the circumstances after now several months of conflict.
Can we get this guy a proper microphone, bro? Why is he like off the laptop microphone right now? Come on, man.
Like with Israel and the United States, it's not clear anyone's in charge in Iran. I think the IRGC are exercising limited control over parts of their organization, but the civil side, I think, is broken down. As a result, it's incredibly complicated to deal with Iran under normal conditions. So these are certainly not normal. It's not clear that anyone is sufficiently representing the Iranian position or could enforce the terms of an agreement if one is reached.
So we're looking now, Iran's cadence is this. We try to hit American resources. That doesn't work. We try to break the blockade. It's not effective. So we hit the Gulf states. And of course, 63 hurt in Kuwait at the airport. They actually went for our bases in Kuwait. We had some people injured at our bases. And now we have the Gulf states pressuring us outside the UAE not to take action. How does that figure into whether we do take action, knowing that they're pushing us seemingly not to take action?
Yeah, these actions, and it's easy to lose count of the number of missile and drone strikes that Iran has taken against commercial and civil shipping and infrastructure, including the international airport terminal in Kuwait last night. It's unclear that they're serious about negotiations at all, nor would they be if we were not negotiating. So if this is what they're like while we're trying to come to an agreement not to shoot at each other, it's not clear that that's going to last. It's, at the same time, you've also got an IRGC officer in the Southern District of New York, a couple blocks from you, who's currently being tried for actively plotting the assassination of the president's daughter. And so it doesn't seem that this is a trustworthy organization. The current representatives are probably not actually in charge. They're certainly not serious about a ceasefire. Right. I think it's only a matter of time before kinetic strikes begin again.
The competence of Secretary.
Well, we'll see. Hopefully, truthfully, I hope that diplomatically we can get this finished. That's what I hope. I hope that we don't have to go into overtime. Well, actually, the way that I look at all of this is that we're in halftime right now. And I've said that weeks and weeks and multiple weeks ago where I said, I think we're just in halftime.
Of State Marco Rubio.
But I really hope that we can get on a on actual diplomacy. I hope that we can do this without bloodshed. That's what I want.
I don't think can be
That's what I hope for,
but
anyways.
Still, Jackie Rosen tried it yesterday. Watch.
I was shocked to see that you were at a party with President Trump in Miami instead of accompanying Vice President Vance to Pakistan for negotiations.
What party was I at? I was at a party?
It's publicly reported, and there's photos there.
But what party?
Oh, boy.
No, but you're going to say that.
Oh, shit. Yeah, good on Marco. I mean, honestly, yeah, if you're going to make a claim, make sure you're able to back that claim. Don't just say what you've heard
I'm going to answer it
from your other constituents and shit.
I'm going to answer that question because that's an absurd statement. I was not at a party.
Finish my paragraph.
I was not at a
Steve
party.
Witkoff
Damn.
And Jared Kushner, both of whom were never confirmed by this body to be America's diplomats, accompanied the vice president in the negotiations. Even Iran's foreign minister was not there, yet you were not, was there, excuse me, and you were not.
100% inaccurate and 100% wrong. Here's why. Number one, the vice president of the United States was there, and he wasn't confirmed by us, and he was elected by the American people. And I was not at a party. Where I was is next to the president. Because in the midst of those negotiations, I was in communications with them. I know your staff wrote up this cute statement for your TikTok video, but it's not true, and it's not real. That's not what happened. Okay, I'm the National Security Advisor and Secretary of State. I was co-located with the president in the midst of a high-stakes negotiation so that I could immediately inform him about events occurring halfway around the world.
She needed a cornerman to work that after that exchange. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's remarkable that those that
I am interested just on my own. What I want to hear what he's got to say on this, even though I really don't give a fuck about this guy's comments. To be honest, like don't take what this guy, what both of these guys exchange with a grain of salt.
Or to be supporting a diplomatic solution against the use of force don't want a diplomatic solution. It's not clear what they are for, but they help manufacture the problem that the president.
Well, they're not for a diplomatic solution that says that they can't have nuclear power. Same thing with when they were saying that. We'll take your ballistic missiles off the shelf, basically. And Iran said, no, we're not doing that. We're not even going to discuss that. And that's the way that we're at a stalemate, unfortunately, when it comes to the nuclear program on both sides, right? We're saying it's absolutely not going to happen. And they're saying it is going to happen. And it's going to happen at a certain level but whatever level that is, it needs to be negotiated. And our claim or our stance is zero. You get nothing, right? And so it's going to be pretty hard for the regime to go ahead and be like, yeah, this is what we're going to sign up for, right? So anyways, listen, I can't thank each and every single one of you guys enough for showing so much love and support, engagement, hitting that like button, double tapping that screen if you guys are on the vertical side, and your comments, your donations, man, it goes a long fucking way. We've got a lot of upgrades what we've been doing here, as you guys can see, and we got a lot to go. So thank you guys for the immense amount of support. You guys see that we're trying our best and damnness to, make sure that this is the best possible channel that you guys can visit and hang out with and find the facts, right? So anyways, much love, honor, respect, everybody. We always appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys actually tonight at 7:10-ish p.m. Central Standard Time for the Diamond Effect. It's going to be a great conversation, by the way. We're going to be discussing a lot of this stuff that's going on with the Middle East for damn sure. So anyways, we'll be back tonight. And then, of course, for more of the world's madness tomorrow morning. Until then, God bless everyone. Much love, honor, respect to everybody. And we'll see you guys very soon. Much love.
From the depths of darkness,